Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 5:30. A roll call. We'll let Dan, you want to take the roll call, please?
Yes. Okay. Bobby Maxwell,
Present.
Rich Cadigan,
How's that?
I
yeah.
see him.
Here.
Hi, Rich.
James White,
Present.
Franco
Nice to see
Pacheco,
you.
Present.
Alicia
Nice.
Gaines,
You have to
I see you,
unmute.
Alicia. Alicia's here. I see her.
Present.
Diane Nielsen,
Here.
Willie Gray,
Willie's on mute.
okay, I see him here. And then
Okay.
our two newest members, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce, Chris Moulton
Present.
and
Hey, Chris.
Robert Daniels Jr.
Present.
All right, that's
All right,
everybody,
we got a
Bobby.
full house. Thank you, Dan. Okay, do we have any public comments?
I did receive one.
Was there?
So I received one email, and it is from Alexandra Sumners. She says, "Hi Dan, I'm requesting permission to get the lines painted on the two pickleball courts that are now designated. The blue painter's tape is no longer lasting in the weather. We are willing to donate and pay for it, just need the okay. We will of course hire a professional. Thank you, Alex."
Okay.
So that request kind of opens up a little bit more for us as our initial use of the tennis courts for pickleball. It really has expired. It was supposed to expire in November, but since the pandemic and they were closed for a while, we've let it kind of extend. So we'll probably need to have a special meeting and bring this subject back up. Probably within the next month or so, and that way we can publish it, get it out to the tennis community and see how they feel about having them out there. And then we can kind of go from there on what we want to do about the painting of the lines.
Right. Okay. Is there any more public comments?
That was the only one that I received.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Okay. Item 4 is the approval of the minutes from our January 11th, 2021 meeting. Everyone have a chance to look that over?
I have a correction to make
Okay.
on the on where it says $27,000. It's supposed to be $2,700
Right.
under
Was it
7.
too many zeros?
Yeah.
I'll correct it, Diane.
Pardona?
I'll correct it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, and then also on the roll call, on the hard copies that I have, Franco Pacheco's name wasn't on there, and he was in attendance. So I didn't look on the E one, but if it's not on the minutes, it needs to be.
I will correct that one too.
Thank you. Even though my bad, I always forget to mention Franco at the end. I'm sorry, Franco, my bad. Okay, any other corrections or additions, whatever? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes. with
I
the
move
correction.
we accept the minutes from last month's meeting. What date was that?
January 11th.
January 11th. With any necessary corrections.
Good corrections.
Okay, it's been motioned. Do I hear a second?
I second that motion.
Thank you. It's been motioned and seconded. Anything else under the question? Seeing none, we have to take a roll call vote, I guess. Yeah,
Bobby,
yeah, aye.
Diane,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Willie,
Aye.
Franco,
Aye.
and then our two new guests, even though they weren't here for the meeting, you guys are official able to vote on this. So Chris
Aye.
and Robert.
Aye.
Very good. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all. Okay, review of the agenda. If there's anything that needs to be added or that you would like to see added, now is the time. I see something that probably needs to be reworded, and that would be business item 6B, which says appointment of a new chair and vice chair, which probably should say nomination and election of both of those positions. It's not actually an appointment, it's a election process.
Noted, we'll make that change.
Okay. Anything else, anyone? Okay. Seeing none, moving on to business item 6, introduction of the newly appointed commissioners. You want to do that, Dan?
All right, well, we are happy to say that we are finally at full capacity with the Parks and Rec Commission and the addition of the two new ones. So why don't we start off, and if you gentlemen would like to introduce yourself and, brief background, that would be great for the rest of the commission. So why don't we start with Chris?
Hey, everybody. My name is Chris Moulton. I'm a Peninsula native. I served 9 years in the United States Navy. Currently a project manager at Cardinale Moving and Storage. Diane, I'm actually best friends with your nephew, JD. We met years ago, but I haven't seen you since then. And it's really good to be here. Thank you.
All right, welcome aboard, Chris. And Robert.
Hello, good evening. It's nice to meet you all. I'm a lifelong Seaside native. I started off my adult career with landscaping. About 2 years ago, I decided to pursue an academic career. So I'm currently at CSUMB pursuing an accounting degree. Pretty much, and thank you for the opportunity, and I'm gonna enjoy working with you all.
Awesome. Well,
Welcome.
Yes, welcome. Welcome, both of you.
we appreciate both of you kind of stepping up and wanting to get into public service through the commission. We always welcome hardworking people to kind of help us move forward. We recently, it's been a couple of years now since the commission was revitalized. It was dormant for quite a few years. So this commission has done a lot of good work since it came back, and we welcome the much needed help and support as we continue to increase parks and recreation in the city.
Okay, welcome to both of you. Okay, business item number 6 is the nomination and election of a new chair and vice chair for the Parks and Recreation Commission for this year.
I'd like to nominate Franco Pacheco as chair.
Okay,
All right, so we have a nomination. Do we have a second?
I second.
Franco, do you accept that nomination?
Boy.
As long as Bobby is prepared to teach me and Rich is able to guide me on the straight and narrow, I will accept their nomination.
I'm all for that. Yes, yes. I will work with you, Franco. Not a problem there.
All right,
Great.
so it's gonna be a little bit different since we can't do the normal election process like we normally do. So we'll just go with a roll call vote for this, unless there's another nomination for someone else.
No,
You have to ask for 3 nominations. You have to ask
we
3
do?
times. Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any
Are there
other
any other-
nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay,
All
hearing
right, that's
none,
good.
hearing none. That constitutes a white ballot, correct?
Right.
Okay. Congratulations, Franco.
But, well, we gotta still vote.
Okay,
Yeah,
All right,
vote.
so put on the list, from what I see, Bobby,
aye,
yeah,
yes.
did Alicia vote? I heard Bobby again. Looks like she's frozen. Willie,
Yes.
James,
Yes,
Diane,
Aye.
Rich,
Yes, aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Franco.
Do I abstain? Is that the?
You can vote, you can vote for
Oh,
yourself.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll say aye.
And Robert.
Aye.
All
Did you
right.
call my name?
Yes, Alicia, I was coming back to you. You were frozen.
Oh, okay. Aye.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
Motion and nomination passes unanimously.
Congratulations,
Do we have a nomination for vice chair?
Vice Chair.
I would like to nominate Bobby Maxwell as vice chair.
Okay. I accept.
I'll second it
Okay.
preemptively to.
All right, we got a motion and a second.
I second it.
Any other, Bobby, any other nominations?
Oh, I'm sorry. Any other nominations for Vice Chair? Are there any other nominations for Vice Chair? Are there any other nominations for Vice Chair? Okay, hearing none, that constitutes also a white ballot. But we
All right,
need to vote.
so roll call vote. Bobby,
Yes,
Rich,
Yes,
Willie,
Yes.
Alicia,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Franco,
Yes,
Robert,
Yes.
and I think that's everyone. James, did I get you?
no, you didn't.
James.
Yes, I vote yes.
All right,
all right. Very
our
good,
nomination passes unanimously.
cool.
All
Thank
right,
you.
well, with that, Franco, you can now chair the rest of the meeting.
Okay,
you know, I didn't prepare. So Dan, if I mess this up or anybody, please stop me. Yes.
I'm sure we'll do fine.
we're on 6C.
Moving on to item 6C, submission of Form 700. Dan, would you like to fill us in?
I believe all of you should have gotten the email probably last month from Assistant City Manager Milton about submitting the Form 700, which is a requirement for public office and volunteers of the city. So hopefully you've all gotten it into her already. I believe Terry did include the form in the packet. So if you have not filled it out, please submit it to Terry as soon as possible so we can get them turned in. They are due March 15th, I believe. And that is a requirement.
What date was that again,
March
You can-
15th.
Dan?
You can email
March-
it back to me.
March 15th.
Okay, thank you.
Chair Pacheco.
Yes, ma'am. I
um,
recognize that voice.
That's Diane. Can we ask, I sent my form in, but do we have to send the original in?
I don't think so.
Terry,
it's-
are you there?
No, no, I'm here. I can't get my picture to come up. I don't know why. I can't get myself videoed. I mean,
You-
that picture's there. Okay. You can, if you turned it into Leslie, you don't have to email it to me.
Oh, I emailed it to you. I emailed you a scanned copy and a photo copy. So just so you know, if for some reason you don't get it, let me know.
When did you email it to me?
Late this afternoon.
Oh, okay. I'll check in the morning, okay?
And Chair Pacheco, I have one more question.
Please continue.
Well,
Ms.
actually, it's for
Nielsen.
Dan. Dan, somebody is trying to watch the live stream, but they said they can't.
Yeah, the live stream, unfortunately, I have a problem because I used my own city Zoom account and not Miss Milton's. And I don't have access to live stream it on YouTube. So I am videoing it or recording it,
Okay,
and then we
I'll
will
let them
post it
know.
tomorrow. That was my bad because I didn't realize that my account wouldn't have access to the YouTube. And Ashley was on Leslie's account, and I was trying to make it so Ashley didn't have to log in.
Okay,
What
Any
is it?
other? Oh, sorry.
Is the person trying to watch the live stream, is it one Laura from the EC?
yes. Did you already talk to her?
No, but you can give her the link and she can join in because the
Okay.
liaison can join in.
Cool.
Dan, do we want to give that a minute for her to join in, or should we move forward with the next item?
We can move forward.
Okay. Any other comments on 6C before we move to 6D? Seems like we're good. So moving on to item 6D, review and discuss adjustments and additions to the 2020 and 2021 work plan to resubmit to City Council as the 2022 work plan. Dan, should I kick it back to you and then we'll go from there?
Yeah, so everyone, I want to commend all of you for the work that we put in on the last work plan. And a lot of it has seen some significant headway. Unfortunately, what happened is we worked hard on it. Other commissions didn't necessarily get theirs ready, and then the pandemic hit. So we weren't able to actually bring it to council for them to approve. So we were able to just kind of roll them over and then resubmit it to council. And we're going to do that, I believe, the first meeting in April. So what we can do is you guys can discuss the work plan, see where we are. We can roll it over as is, but I know I've spoken with some of you and you have a couple other items that you would like to add. So we can include that in on the new version of the work plan. So for the new commissioners, hopefully you guys were able to see the work plan that was submitted and kind of see like what our the goals are for the upcoming year, or what they were for the last year, and how we're going to move forward with the new year.
Excellent. So I guess we'll open it up then for input. Does anybody want to start us off with the hand raise, and I'll call on you with my special kindergarten teacher powers? Mr. Rich.
Do we keep fiscal year 2021 or do we change that to 21-22?
We'll change it.
Okay.
Next contestant, Ms. Nielsen.
Yes, besides the work plans that we have in place, I wanted to suggest that we add putting some kind of signs at the parks that don't have signs that name them. Because you can go by a park and you don't know which park it is unless you go to the map. But when you're walking by the park, you can't identify it. And that's one. And the other is to start prioritizing all access pieces of playground equipment in some of the parks. And I don't know which ones are ADA compliant, probably not many of them, but to start there where it's the easiest and then move forward from that point as parks get more attention. And lastly, I don't know if this would ever be possible, but to get some irrigation for some of the park plantings to enhance our environmental impact on our community.
You're muted, Mr. Muse.
Right, I mean, we can add all of those items as long as the commission, you know, agrees to it. I will stay on the irrigation. I'm not quite sure on how that's gonna work. There isn't a member from the Parks Department on the call tonight. But it's my understanding, like each park, there's two different water systems in Seaside. There's Cal-Am and then there's the Seaside Municipal Water District.
Right.
So there's some of them that I don't know if we can use the irrigation or not. So that would be, there'd be more of an in-depth process to figure that out. And we would probably need to talk to Dave Fortune and see what that entails. But
It's
putting
just
it on the
something
work
for
plan.
the future, basically.
Yeah, and putting it on the work plan is, I mean, still a good idea. So that way we can research it and figure it out. So, and I can also email Dave when we, after this meeting, so I can try and get some more information.
Awesome. I had a question for you, Mr. Mewis. So with items like that, would we then hopefully put it to a motion and then vote? Is that the plan? Okay.
Yeah, and then it would just be more for submission, and I would probably recommend too, like maybe going over the current work plan where we're at, seeing where we are on some of these items and seeing if some of them should stay or if we need to remove any of them, and then kind of go from there, because some of them have had some significant work done to them and are pretty close. So that may be a good starting point.
Okay. So Ms. Nielsen, do you mind holding on to your motion until we go through some of these items? Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
Okay. I guess we should take it line by line if everybody's okay with that. So our first item was promote public input. Do we have any updates on that particular jam?
I think that's an ongoing one, and we've been when we're able to really promote public input. And I think the only recommendation I would have would be kind of trying to reach some of those hard hit communities that maybe have a hard time participating. So maybe it's be more of, you know, putting flyers in those communities, trying to reach out to them a little bit that way. They don't generally respond to emails or social media and things like that. So that would just be one recommendation in figuring out how to reach those areas. But this is definitely an item that's on the work plan year in, year out.
Okay. Mr. Moulton?
So with promoting public input, couldn't we do something with like a box or something at the parks where people are already going, where they could, hey, fill this out, drop it off? And we have collection centers all around the city in these parks. It might be a good way to get people voicing their opinion when they otherwise wouldn't take a trip down to City Hall, or I'm not sure how the comments are collected currently, but just a thought.
I think that would be good, but it might be litter might cause littering in the park. I think if we had something as with the park signs that we are trying to, that was suggested that we put an email address or something on there to let them know that they can email this at this site if they want something done with their park. I think that would be more useful. It's a good idea, but I think just putting the email or the phone number directly to where they can contact someone in Parks and Recreation with their concerns.
I think
Mr. Mewis?
that is a good idea because, you know, like you said, a lot of people would just try to put those things in there, and once the thing gets full, they just start shelving them around, and they miss the container. Next thing you know, it lands on the ground.
Okay. So Mr. Mewis, currently there is an app, right? A reporting app that is accessible to all city residents. Is Parks and Rec contained unit within that app?
Parks are, and I don't know how far rec is in there, but I know there's like information on registering for programs and stuff. It's more of like a link. But no, definitely C-Click Fix can be used to report park issues and things like that. So we could really try and promote that as a piece to kind of get some park information too. The problem is I don't know how it is to push information out. We can take it all in, but I don't know if there's a function to, really like, all the users on it, like to say, hey, we're gonna have a meeting at this park or whatnot. So I'd have to talk to engineering, as they're the ones that kind of spearheaded that project.
Okay, and then, but as far as Mr. Moulton, would that serve as a function for you? So maybe if we promoted the ability to report the parks through that app that's already set up and kind of cuts down on litter, like some of our concerns, but also make sure that voices are heard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think hand in hand with what Diane was saying earlier about signage for parks that don't currently have it, that might be a good place to test this out. Just throwing it out there. But as Miss Gaines said, I think putting follow us on Facebook for comments or something like that would be the way to go.
Awesome. That's an ongoing item, Dan, so we don't really need to motion that one. We just under. Okay, we're gonna keep pushing through. I'm gonna combine the next two, Mr. Mewis. So seek grant funds and submit CDBG grant. Can you or something?
Yeah, we got the CDBG grant, and that one will be moving forward with Ellis Park. So that one is taken care of. We are finalizing state park-wide grant round 4, and we need to submit that by the middle of next month, and we should have that one off too. So those two are definitely in the works, and we should have some progress moving forward. I think this is another one too that's always going to be, on the work plan, because we all know that our parks in Seaside are generally in dire need of some help. So I think we're always going to be looking for funding to kind of help us with these projects. But those two items with those two grants, I think we have taken care of.
Okay, awesome. Moving right along, work cooperatively with FOSBA and other city commissions, homeless, NIC, SAHC, and environmental. At this point, let's do updates, I guess, for each liaison. So who is our liaison to homeless? Would you like to go first? Okay.
Wait, who was that? Do we have someone for that?
I'm not sure if we assigned someone. Mr. Former chair or vice chair, can you help me out? As I'm already.
I don't know if anyone volunteered to be with the homeless commission meeting or whatever. Yes.
This is James. I volunteered to look into the homeless, but due to a lot of circumstances, I just haven't had time to do it.
Okay.
I would like to.
Things.
Okay.
Thanks for that update, James.
I would like to volunteer for that.
If you would, if Mr. White, are you okay collaborating with Ms. Gaines and just kind of tag teaming that commission then? That way we get it.
That would be a problem. That'll help.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gaines. So we will make you the liaison in addition to Mr. White. Moving along, we'll skip NIC for a second. SHAC, I don't think we appointed anybody, but Mr. Maxwell, can you update me?
What does that stand for?
That's art and history.
Oh, I don't know that anyone volunteered to be a liaison for that commission either.
We're trucking. Does anybody?
We'd have to look back in the prior minutes to see who signed up for what. I can't remember all that.
Excuse me.
Mr. Gray,
I would volunteer for the art history.
Right.
Look at that. We're making progress.
Good.
So no update at this time. I think we'll go with that, Mr. Mewis. But I know environmental liaison. I know you have something for me, so I'm excited. Please give us an update.
You're talking to me, right?
Yes, ma'am. Of course.
My update on the liaison I have is Laura, who has been trying to get in here. Dan, do you see her there? No?
No, she has not joined the meeting yet.
Okay. And between us, we have connected with different stewards in the community of the parks, and mostly working on the tree project and how that would look, since she's so involved with the pollinator plants. And I think she's mostly around Lincoln Cunningham Park, but some of the other parks. So between Sustainable Seaside, FOSBA, and other park stewards such as Robert, for instance, we're moving towards what looks like to be a successful tree planting when that actually gets to occur. That's my report.
Thank you. And then for NIC, I've been liaisoning somewhat successfully. We did get our item to a vote, and we got funding put in that direction. Dan, I'll let you update us on that part, but we did get it passed. But at this point, it's kind of in my understanding of city government is that it's currently in purgatory until the NIC brings that recommendation to the city council. But we did get the money approved that we asked for, with exception of about 15,000, because we didn't actually end up needing it because the money was already there for that park. Is that about right, Dan?
Yeah, that's my understanding too. So until you are correct, until they do bring it to city council, then, you know, those funds are still stuck with them until they're officially assigned. And then once they are, then we can kind of start to move forward with those projects. And I did speak a little bit with Diane about the tree project, and it is kind of extensive on moving forward with that, because while this board has, approved it, once we get the plans of the types of trees, where they're going, locations, and then it has to go to the planning commission. And then we have to notify, I think, a 300 radius of all the residents in the parks that are selected to make sure that they have a fair shake on that, just in case some of the trees become blocking view sheds and things like that. So it will take a little bit of time, but I spoke with Diane that, if we get it rolling, we should hopefully by the fall, ideally, be able to start planting some trees.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. So, Mr. Moulton.
So it's my understanding that the Neighborhood Improvement Commission is the one that's in charge of the Seaside Community Garden. Can you confirm that for me?
Where's the community garden at? I didn't even know we had one.
Exactly why I'm here. Okay. I read their last year's work plan, and it had mentioned it in there. I just want to make sure. I'm interested in doing some stuff with all of us in the community garden and working with some other commissions. So I just wanted to make sure, because Franco, you're the liaison, so you're kind of the go-to guy for that. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Mr. Moulton, I will add it to my notes, and I will liaise appropriately and find out where we are with that. And I will gladly connect you where you need to be connected.
Thank you.
I've had requests for the garden before, but we just really haven't had a location. So I'm definitely unaware of anything that NIC is doing.
So I will find out, and I'll report back to the commission on that. But Ms. Nielsen, please.
I just wanted to mention to Chris, have you seen the community garden in Sand City?
I have, yes. And also, for the record, the community garden for Seaside's on the corner of Lowell and Broadway. It's the giant overgrown field kind of lot thing there. You can't miss it. It's like 3 blocks down from my house, so I see it every day, and I feel like there's some stuff we could do with it. So
I'll try and swing by and take a look at it.
Yep, I will definitely find out and bring back the report to you guys from there. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Moulton, for bringing that to our attention. We'd hate to have an overgrown eyesore on our hands, the blood on our hands,
No problem.
or plant sap, I suppose, as it were. All right. So Mr. Mules, I think we're fine to leave that item on there. As far as the dates, you'll update that accordingly.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Moving along. Attend workshops. Dan, I know we had achieved some sort of membership with the last meeting and voted on it. Do we have an update on that?
Yeah, so it's funny because I tried to sign everyone up, and when I got through and I was doing it, it said renew your membership. I'm like, well, I don't ever remember us being a member, so I was trying to reach out and get some information, and I haven't heard back yet. And I didn't want to like fork out the money until I got someone to talk to us. So I'm still trying to research that and figure it out, but hopefully we'll be good on that here in the future. But I'm also most likely going to be signing up the city in general, as a whole, for the California Parks and Recreation Society. And then that will kind of open up the membership for all the commissioners as well. So once I have more information on that.
Excellent. Thank you. So we're good to leave that one on there. Moving along, we had explore trail systems in Seaside. I know we don't have a ton to update on that particular item due to COVID-19 and everything else. But I think I would personally like to keep that on the work plan. If anybody has any other commentary or input.
I think it would be not something nice to do. You're talking about up at the top of Broadway, aren't you?
That's actually the next item. This is just a trail system in that we demarc some walking trails, kind of similar to if you've been to Delray Oaks, kind of the way we do have trails, just kind of making them trails would be the general goal.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Great idea.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing a whole lot of against that, so Mr. Mules will keep that one on there if that sounds good. This next one, review green space area along General Jim Moore Boulevard. We did make progress with that because I did research and kind of looked up a plan and everything else. Obviously, that's a long-term project, which I would love to keep on there. But I do know, and Dan, you can help me with this. I imagine the very first thing on our docket would be rezoning or petitioning to rezone that from residential to open space. So Dan, is that correct? And then can we keep it on there to move forward? Even if we go with something other than what I suggested, that would be our next step.
Yeah, and then we would need to be working with the community development department because they're the ones that handle and planning. They handle all the rezoning. So I'll start talking with the director in that department and figure out what we need to do.
Thank you, Mr. Mules. Are we all good with that staying on the report then? And just getting an updated date?
Yeah.
You guys are making this super, super easy. We're just trucking down. All right. Park cleanup. Do we have, I know we have had some park cleanups. Rich, I believe you were really instrumental in that. Can you update us?
Yeah, I said that I'd start with Trinity Park and the Eco Park over by Roberts Lake. Not much with Roberts Lake. However, Trinity Park, I've gathered three volunteers in the neighborhood. We've actually pulled all the weeds on the west end, cleaned that up. There's a couple of us that continually clean up the trash that can't seem to make it in the trash cans. All the ivy has been trimmed, and the fire hydrant has been painted. So that park's looking good. Eco Park isn't as bad. It's a lot nicer now that the campers have moved out. I will make sure I go by there within the next week or so. Unfortunately, because of the schools and stuff, that park is not used as much as Trinity Park, but our park is definitely getting a lot of use with families and such, with the barbecue and stuff like that. So I talked to Dave Fortune about mowing that the park, and he said it's scheduled this week. Oh, we've also sprayed. I had one of the neighbors mix up some natural weed killer, vinegar, salt, and a little soap, and keeping some of the weeds down with that.
Excellent. Thank you for that update. Are we good to keep this on our work plan and continue going towards and hopefully expanding more parks? Everybody cool with that?
That's a good
Fantastic.
idea.
All right, I love it. I love the energy. Next up, I think this is actually back to you, Rich. You're just the superstar. Review Seaside Municipal Code Section 9.08.
Yeah, we've all worked on that and submitted some changes. Still working with Dan on that. I wouldn't say that it's complex, but I think when it does get submitted, we only want to submit it once. So it needs to be, everything needs to be pretty tight in it before it goes to council.
And I think what we can do is we can bring it back at our next meeting, kind of take a look at everything and just see where we're at, see if
Sure.
there's any more changes. And I can also resend kind of where we are with that document too, so everyone, so the new commissioners can see it too as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice if we could get it pretty early so we can, because it is rather lengthy and stuff, it'd be nice to get it pretty early so we can get our eyes on it.
Yeah, and ordinance changes do take some time, so I think now that we got a full crew here, it will definitely help to get more eyes on it.
Excellent, thank you. So I guess that's a good update. We'll keep moving forward. We'll keep that on there. The next one was the Blues in the Park collaboration. Obviously, we didn't have that opportunity because Blues in the Park did not happen with the summer. But Rich, did you have a comment on that one?
Yeah, I wanted to let you know, I volunteered to assist Dave Pacheco with that project. If it comes back this year, that'd be great. But I'd like to work with him with that. He just lives a few doors down from me, so be something easy to do.
On that topic, I have spoken with Councilmember Pacheco a little bit about this already, and obviously we don't know where we're going to be in the pandemic once July and August comes around, and there is a little bit of planning, getting the artists and everything lined up. So we kind of discussed potentially having this next year's potentially in like September or October, where the weather is still really nice and we would be in a better place ideally. So that's kind of what the talk has been about that. So I will keep everyone in the loop and as we move forward with the planning for that event.
That's a good idea. I like
Excellent.
that.
So I would like to keep that on the work plan and continue down. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Wonderful. Or not forever, but until the end of this particular item. The next one is an Institute Adopt the Park program. I'll update on that since I think I had spearheaded that. We had come up with some ideas, but then the pandemic kind of happened and kind of put everything on pause. Go ahead, Mr. Maxwell.
Nothing. Sorry.
Oh, I was excited. I thought you were going to chime in and educate me further. I think that is still an important thing to consider, and I'd like to keep it on the work plan. I would like to maybe have someone else help me with it, given that I'm already failing at running a meeting. But it seems like Mr. Moulton and I can collaborate on that. So Mr. Moulton, you and I can connect on it and move forward.
Yes, I'd like to be involved in that.
Excuse me, what was that topic?
We were talking about keeping the Institute Adopt the Park program, kind of designing the guidelines for it.
Rich has already put together a quite extensive Adopt a Park program.
Better. Rich, please update us since that's exciting. And
right now it's in draft form, and Dan's taking a look at it and going from there. Any changes that Dan has or deletions, additions, I'll be glad to do. And I think that could probably go out. Hopefully, what do you think, Dan, when the Muni code?
We could probably even get it sooner. The one thing I need to do is I need to send it out to risk management and just make sure they're okay with it.
Yeah.
And have any issue, if there's any concerns there. But I think we should, if Chris wants to take a look at what you've already put together, so he can review it there, and even Franco. So then that way there's a couple more commissioners on it, and maybe they catch something that we missed.
And it is in Word, and if you can use the edit feature in Word, that, you know, you guys know how it works. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
But
Excellent.
I will say Rich did put together a good document, and it looks really good. And, you know, after this too, I saw that Santa Cruz has a pretty extensive Adopt a Park program too. So there's definitely another close neighbor that we could look at for some guidance too.
Oh, good. Yeah. Santa Cruz?
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Rich, I meant zero disrespect. I guess I tried to run before I could walk there. So I'm thrilled. And then Mr. Moulton, I would love to connect you with Rich and I'll also get a look at it. So that's how we'll move forward with that one. So we'll definitely keep that on since Rich has done excellent work. Thank you, Rich. The next one, moving down, is I'll let Ms. Nielsen update us on this one since we have somewhat good news, although we kind of heard about it, and that's work with the Environmental Commission for tree plantings. Ms. Nielsen, if you don't mind.
Yes. So far, we have fortunately been supported by the by the Neighborhood Improvement Program to help us fund this project, which is fabulous. And lined up different native trees and working with the people in those areas like FOSPA or stewards of different parks, the seaside, sustainable seaside, in choosing the kinds of trees, possible trees that won't interfere with people's views, and being very cognizant of that. And it's nice to know we'll be letting the neighbors know so they can have their input too. So I'm really feel good about it. I've gotten some pricing from Seaside Garden Center and working on different ways to make sure that these trees are successful in growing. And we're ready to go anytime we get the okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Nielsen. And I know you and Dan or Mr. Munoz have talked about that moving forward with it. So I would like to keep that also on there. So not a lot of subtraction happening today. That's cool. The final one is implement a biannual drown proofing program with local youth. I'll update us on that one since that was my tasking. After speaking pretty extensively with some of Dan's employees to include Mr. Ramirez and Ms. Fitzgerald, I would like to keep it on there, but I'd like to change the name just to a water safety program, just like a day of water safety education instead of drown proofing. Drown proofing is a military terminology that has no place in city government. So it would be better if we change it to water safety, but I would like to keep that on and continue. But I also would like to adjust it to an annual drown proofing instead of biannual, just for feasibility's sake. And until we get at least one successful run at it, if that's okay with everybody. So Dan, my question is, would I have to motion that, or
are you asking for a motion that we change the name? Can someone make a motion? Because that's an action item to change something.
We can do that here once we can do it with kind of lump everything together to make it all one motion. I do want to, kind of elaborate a little bit on that, Franco. So I don't know if you saw that swim lessons actually have been deemed essential. So we're in the process now of trying to get them up and running at our pool. Fortunately, the problem that we've been dealing with is actually staffing, because since the pool has been closed for almost a year now, a lot of our guards and swim instructors have moved on. So we are trying to get things up and running. We are hopefully looking at a start date of the middle of March, after the staff that we do have does some much needed training that they've kind of missed out on. So I think once we kind of initiate the, getting swim lessons back up and running, then it will be a good opportunity to look at doing this community-wide thing. And I don't know if your thoughts were to kind of incorporate it around think in June, that's when they do like the world's largest swim lesson, where they like try and get everybody who teaches swim lessons to do something. So just throwing that out there, if that's like kind of like what your thought is or not, but we can look at that as we move forward.
Yeah, you kind of nailed it, Dan. So as we're talking a lot with Ms. Fitro, we kind of agreed on that point and kind of moving it further back and doing it once per year in collaboration with the world's largest. It's a great idea. Obviously with COVID-19, as long as we can get it done at some point, that's the only goal. The timeline definitely dependent on what's best for your staff.
Cool. All right.
Excellent. So at this point, Dan, would it be okay if we motion and voted to make these changes and then went to additions after that? Would that be the best course of action?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that make a motion on making any changes to the current work plan. And then, so list all the changes out, and then we'll go and any additions from members of the commission.
Okay, at this time, I will entertain motions for what we've discussed.
I move that we make changes to the current work plan, the list that Franco has said, item by item. With
Cool. I second that motion.
Just for clarification, the changes were the changing the names to the drown proofing. And
Right.
was that it?
And transferring it to once per year. That's the only changes we really had, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess approving all of it and then making those changes.
So
We have a second on the
motion.
table.
Second, I second it.
All right, we'll do a roll call. And so Chair Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice Chair Maxwell,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Willie,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
and Alicia.
aye.
All right, motion carries unanimously.
Awesome. At this time, let's open it up to take suggestions to add to our work plan. Diane, since I paused you, or sorry, Ms. Nielsen, since I paused you, would you like to rejoin your suggestion?
Sure. My first suggestion is to get some of the parks signage that don't have signage. And my second suggestion or idea for work plans is to begin adding accessible playground equipment in the easiest places to do it first, that may be ADA compliant or on their way to being planned or financed. And the last was to long-term to look at how we can manage to get irrigation as it's feasible in the future for maintaining some of our parks that have the nice plantings, and instead of a water truck having to go there every time to do something that's a little more efficient and more sustainable for the plants. So watering systems, irrigation.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Nielsen. So at this time,
And it's
I guess
not just, I'm sorry, it's part of our environmental health in the city as well.
excellent. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
That's okay.
So this time, I guess we'll entertain comments or a motion on what, and again, stop me if I do this wrong at any point, what Mrs. Nielsen has recommended. Ms. Nielsen, I apologize.
We can go by, if you want to go by commissioner and go down that way, and we can approve it individually, or if you want to approve everything as a whole, we can do that. It may be easier to go by commissioner request, so that way if there's something in there that we didn't want to, or you didn't want to put on this work plan, we could identify it easier that way. Make sense?
Yeah, I think so. so we take it one by one here, Dan. So, so let's do one by one. So do we have a motion for the first commissioner request, please? So Ms. Nielsen, if you want to put up one of your ones, let's go that way.
Okay. I make a motion that.
Hold on a second.
Oh,
You know, I get so mixed up with the virtual meetings. Let me just make sure that I don't have any public comment in my email. Because we
Okay.
do have to open it up for public comment.
Of course, I
Or,
apologize.
you know what, we open it up for public comment after everything. So what we do, I think after everyone talks about it, then we open it up for public comment, and then we'll come back and commissioners can make final reports, or, and then we can go and make the motion to approve everything.
Okay.
So we go down the list and see if anyone else has anything, and then we'll go there.
Okay, so actually, Ms. Nielsen, you're good. Does anybody else have anything else they would like to add to our list to add to the work plan? Mr. Moulton?
I'm new here, so I apologize, but the community garden, is there some way that we can get that down on paper, that we're working on it or working towards partnering with another commission and like specifically to figure that out? I'm not 100% sure how it works. I apologize.
We're all learning to run here. Mr. Muis, would that fall under our collaboration piece, or could we add an extra item onto just to add focus?
We could add an item to review it and look at it and see how that would work. So it could be even as simple as like work with the NIC to, you know, maintain and upkeep the community garden or whatnot. So I think we could definitely have that be a part of the work plan.
Okay, I would
It
be
could
happy
even
with that on
be
the
as
list.
much as like investigate, you know, community garden and find ways to bring it to fruition.
Mr. Moulton, would that be amenable to you?
Definitely. Thank you.
Excellent. Does anybody else have another item to add to the 4 we currently have? Okay. So quick question, Mr. Muis, then, if we were to then vote on these 4 additions, you would do the timelining part of that? Or so now that we've talked about it, we open to public comment, right? Is that the next stage? You're muted, Mr. Muis.
So public, if you want to open up public comment, we can do that for a few minutes, or not even a few minutes. We can just say it's open for public comment. And as of right now, I don't have any emails, so just give it a second here and see. And you know what, we may not get any because the live stream on YouTube's not working. So I just want to make sure that we are doing it right.
No, I love the idea. We are open for public comment, open for business, as it were.
All right, so I'm not seeing any, so.
Excellent. At this time, I would love to entertain motions to move forward with these 4 items.
I make a motion that we forward these 4 items.
I second.
At your will, Mr. Muis.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Do a roll call vote to add the 4 talks about items. So Chair Pacheco,
Aye.
Vice Chair Maxwell,
Aye.
Alicia Gaines,
Aye.
Willie Gray,
Aye.
Ann Nielsen,
aye.
James White,
Aye.
Rich Cadigan,
Aye.
Chris Moulton,
Aye.
and Robert Daniels Jr.
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, sorry, Alicia, sorry.
I just want, you know, I've been big on this Robert's rule thing because of all my other meetings. But I think the president should be the last vote, simply because if it's a tie, he is supposed to be the tiebreaker.
All right, I'm going down the list of what I see on my screen, so.
Yeah, Yeah, but yeah, he should be the last vote if he has to vote. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you putting even more pressure on my tiny shoulders, but thank you, Alicia. Moving forward, I suppose we can do that.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you, Mr. Mewis.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move right along. Business item number 7, reports and recreation staff. Back to you, Mr. Mewis.
All right, so like I mentioned before, we are, getting ready to open up swim lessons. So that's good. It's going to be one of our first main programs that we do bring back. This past Saturday, the rec did host our monthly food distribution at City Hall. We actually have a lot of leftover food, which can be seen as a good thing. Maybe not as many people are in need as food as once, when we started this. Or maybe they just didn't come out. I'm still trying to figure that out. So we've been really trying to hit up a lot of nonprofits and homeless shelters in the area to see how we can get this leftover food distributed. And whatever we don't, we'll include it with our weekly senior distribution as well on Fridays. We are looking at camp, so like an outdoor spring camp for spring break, the end of March. That'll be, another one that we're really trying to come back with. And we just actually had yesterday the Art and History Commission collaboration for Black History Month with 4 other local groups, which was a pretty big success for, kind of switching the whole gallery virtual, as well as having the program virtual as well. Normally that event packs City Hall to the brim. So, it was definitely, a good showing of being able to do that virtually. And then we are just planning for Easter. Easter was actually our first event last year under the pandemic, when we had to kind of switch things up on the fly. And even though our numbers are still, they're not that great, we're going to kind of roll with what we did last year. We're going to deliver the eggs to anyone that wants eggs. So we're going to deliver goodie baskets that way. We're going to also add a business scavenger hunt, where we're going to put like kind of large eggs inside businesses' windows. Each egg will have a phrase on it. And then after everyone finds all the eggs it will be 10 eggs. So whatever the 10-word phrase is, if they can come back with the correct phrase from all the eggs, they'll win an Easter basket. And then we're also trying to figure out the logistics for a socially distant picture with the bunny, and kind of having a reservation system. So we're looking at a 3-prong approach for our Easter event. Hopefully, as we start getting through the pandemic here in the next few months, we'll be able to kind of welcome back some of our more typical special events. There's also some news from the state that just came out about sports. So sports are getting able to start to come back. So we're going to be opening up field reservations for a lot of these groups as they're available. Pony baseball is like really the first one on the list, as they'll be able to start playing games as soon as we're in the red tier. So word on the street is we should be there within the next couple weeks. And that was evident from our meeting with the health officer about 2 weeks ago. So he was saying probably around the beginning of March, we should be looking at transitioning through the tiers, which is a good sign for all of us. So we are starting to get up and running again. We've been bringing back a little more staff here and there to start filling in some of these tasks. And we've also our program at the school where we're helping the kids on the McKinney-Vento list, doing learning hubs. That's been going on for about a month now too. So it's been pretty successful over there. And depending on whether or not the school MPUSD decides to go back in person, which it looks like a lot of them are working on a hybrid model. We'll have to figure out how that program kind of will continue, as well as how we can maybe bring back our after-school program for those days when the kids actually do go back to the classroom. So we're got our fingers crossed, hoping we can kind of start bringing back more rec programs, as I know the community is in dire need of them. So, kind of in a nutshell.
Thank you, Mr. Mewis. And obviously, hopefully you pass on our a lot of respect and appreciation for all the effort your staff's putting in to get us back to normalcy. Do we have any questions for Mr. Mewis on this business item? All right, moving right along to business item 8, which is reports and park staff. We don't have one with us, but Dan, do you have anything for us?
So a couple things. Things are moving in the right direction for the accessible merry-go-round and musical instrument at Laguna Grande. I've been seeing some emails go back and forth between engineering and the designer. So I believe that there was a date, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I want to say coming up in the next couple of months when they should be able to start breaking ground. And then Ellis Park, I believe they were saying September, when they'll probably be able to break ground on that. So I just need to finish up submitting the per capita grant information so we can get that check as well. But it's also, I do believe that the extra money that we needed, that extra 115, I believe the city's going to put it in after the last council meeting with our budget surplus. So I think Councilmember Pacheco was pushing to have that extra 115 rolled over so we can complete that park project as a whole. And then Highland Otis is also moving forward as well. And that extra money that was needed, the city's putting it in. So that project is within the next couple months too. So in reality, we have 3 parks that will be hopefully being, at additions and some new fully renovations within the next year. So that is definitely some good news with our parks. Then we can start looking at, some of these other parks that we can hopefully, work on and see, the main piece is the ADA. So obviously that's going to be the first thing that we need to get taken care of before we put in some any new equipment and stuff of that nature. So probably within the next 6 to 8 months, we'll be coming back to figure out what the new priority list is for the commission and moving forward.
Excellent, thank you. Do we have any questions?
I do apologize for the park staff not joining on. I don't know why they should have been here, but something must have come up that I wasn't aware of.
Gotcha. Do we have any questions for Dan to the best of his ability on those topics? No? All right. Sorry, guys. I'll keep this going. Commissioner reports. I'll start at the top of my list. We'll go to you first, Bobby. I won't forget you like you forget me.
I have nothing. I really have nothing.
Oh, that was uneventful.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Cadigan.
Other than what I mentioned earlier, nothing. Like I said, we've been working on the Muni Code and the Adopt a Park and keeping a couple of the parks clean. So that's about it.
Those are all pretty big. Thank you for taking care of that and spearheading it. Mr. White.
I have one question. At Catino Park, where they have the skating facility, the skateboard facility, are there any signs there that require those kids to have helmets? Or is that just something that
Yes.
could be there later? Because as I ride by there, I see a lot of kids out there, but none of them have helmets on. I was just wondering about that.
There are multiple signs that state that you must wear helmets. It is also part of our Muni Code.
Okay.
The problem is, once we opened the park, I bought probably 50 helmets to have on hand to have them loaned out to kids that needed a helmet. The majority of them never made their way back to us. So when you think about it, that's a good amount of kids that ended up with helmets,
Right, yeah.
The other ones that when we tell them they need to wear helmets, we're kind of met with resistance of, middle fingers and F-bombs and this and that. So it is a challenging situation, and PD has definitely made it very clear that their plan is not to really give kids tickets for not wearing helmets. So it is a use at your own risk type of park. And if someone were to get hurt because they didn't wear a helmet, we have the proper signage. We have all the, everything there. So it does, it will hold up in court if the city, so we won't necessarily get sued, but it is definitely a priority to try and get those kids.
You answered the question right there. It'll hold up in court.
It should, because it's a unsupervised facility.
Right, okay. Thank you.
Do you have anything else to report, Mr. White or Commissioner White?
No, nothing. Thank you.
Commissioner Gaines Lynch? You're still muted.
Nothing at this time. I have nothing to report. Glad to be back. My mom's doing a lot better. So,
That's excellent to
Thank
hear.
you.
We're glad to have you back.
yeah.
Commissioner Gray?
I have nothing to report, but I'm definitely happy with the direction that we are headed.
Great. Commissioner Nielsen?
I have nothing more to comment on other than what I commented on before and reported. But I do have one question about, I wanted to ask you, Dan, or anybody, how, is there any graffiti in the parks these days? Or is that, if there is it being taken care of?
I haven't been aware of any graffiti in the parks that's been brought to my attention. I know that when we do get it, we do try and take care of it fairly quickly. I've seen some actually on Oldemeyer recently, but other than the skate park kind of gets some here and there, but we generally do address it. And then I know that there's actually the city manager has been working on updating the graffiti ordinance, which will come back to council at the next meeting. So
Oh, yeah.
the city is definitely working in the right direction to kind of, curb that. So, but generally when I do get reports when it's out there, I just haven't gotten them late.
So my other question is, does recreation staff do any painting, or is it simply public works?
It really depends. I know because with the graffiti too, is a lot of the time we have to take a photo of it and then send it to PD just to make sure it's not gang related. So then that way they can track it. Public Works generally does do the painting, but like for stuff at Oldemeyer, and like if it's at Oldemeyer, the pool or the teen center, there's a few staff in-house that can go over and paint it if needed. But generally it is Public Works.
I'm going to kick it over to Mr. I'm sorry, Commissioner Cadigan.
The city CRM app works real well with graffiti. I think there's even a drop down for graffiti, and I see it requested an awful lot. So I'd encourage anyone of us that does see something, just you could do the CRM.
And that is a good point too. And that might be one of the reasons why I don't get the calls anymore, is because if it's going through the C-Click fix, then, that's going straight to the powers that be that would address graffiti. So, and the great thing about that is you can take a picture of it right then and be on the app. So then that it automatically goes where it needs to go.
Well, excellent. To any of our adoring public that are watching, we greatly encourage you to use that app to report any graffiti you see, especially in our parks. Is that cool, Dan?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm sorry. I did want to mention too, you guys may start seeing more emails come from recreation at Seaside, because I added all the commissioners to our rec database. So that way you can kind of see a lot of what's going out. So sorry for any mass emails that you guys may be getting, but just wanted everyone to be aware.
Excellent. We appreciate the information. Moving along, Commissioner Moulton, welcome first, and then I guess your report.
Oh, thanks everyone for having me. It's really an honor to serve on this commission with you guys. I don't have anything to report, but I have a question. Is there some kind of roster or something where like I'm able to be able to email you guys? Everything I get from Terry is just
so
me. Like emails would be helpful.
So the one
Mr.
problem
Mills?
with that
Are you
is if
frozen?
you start emailing multiple commissioners
Uh,
and then there's a
Ms.
response.
Navarro, I'll kick it to you. In theory, do we have a roster? And
We have a
Well-
roster. Does everybody, I need to get permission from everybody. Is it okay to send out you guys' emails to each other?